and informative.
Thank you for joining us on the News Machine, the hottest news magazine show on radio. We are reaching you from Hot FM stations in Lagos on 93.3 FM, Hot FM Abuja 98.3 FM, and Hot FM Owerri 99.5 FM. 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. I am Otobong Nkanta. This morning on the News Machine, Salah Holidays NSCDC deploys 40,000 officers across the nation. Court awards 1 million naira to ex-JAMB registrar against ICPC over unlawful detention. And Nigeria in diaspora hail Tinubu's decisions. We will also be linking up for the voices in the news. The News Machine will be back after these messages.
Now you can get your news on. Hot, fresh, exciting, and exclusive. The News Machine.
Reaching you at the same time in Lagos, Abuja, and Owerri. 3 states for the price of 1. Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m.
The News Machine. More than just news.
Hot FM.
We are more than just radio.
Welcome back to the News Machine. The Commandant General, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Audi, has deployed 40,000 personnel ahead of the Eid el-Kabir celebration. In a statement signed by the Corps spokesperson Olushola Odumosu, Audi charged all heads of formation to ensuring effective security coverage of the country. He urged them to increase their level of vigilance and be highly sensitive to their environment, especially during this festive period. A federal high court in Abuja has awarded a 1 million naira fine against the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) for the unlawful detention of Professor Dibu Ojerinde, former Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board (JAMB). Justice Obiora Egwatu, in a judgment, also awarded a 200,000 naira fine against the ICPC as Ojerinde's cost of instituting the case. Ojerinde, in the suit filed before Justice Egwatu, had sought an order to enforce his fundamental right following his rearrest on January 26 within the court premises and his subsequent detention. Recall, ICPC had accused the ex-JAMB boss of diverting public funds to the tune of 5 billion naira and was dragged before Justice Egwatu on the 18-count money laundering suit. President Bola Tinubu met with Nigerians in Paris after attending the Global Financing Pact Summit in France. He assured Nigerians of repositioning the education and health sectors, while the ongoing reforms on the economy will be sustained and expanded. The president said he would do so with a view to relieving families struggling with the burden of poverty and insecurity. The Nigerian leader said more creative and innovative policies will be unfolded and implemented in areas that directly impact the livelihood of Nigerians, like electricity, sport, and energy.
Nigeria belongs to all of you, all of us. Our diversity is an asset if we know how to use it for our prosperity. Born of the same father in the same house, except living in different rooms. We must promote unity, stability, and economic justice for every one of us.
Nigeria's ambassador to France, Kayode Laro, thanked the president for accepting the proposal for the meeting with Nigerians on short notice and tight schedule, while the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri Erewa, shed more light on the topical concerns of Nigerians in France.
In Sudan. So we have Nigerians here who are doing great things back home. We have Nigerians to be proud of. And we have Nigerians who, as Mr. Leke has said, are very excited about the hurricane steps you have taken as president. And the image has changed all of a sudden, and it's like we all want to come back home to Nigeria. For all those who have jackpot, we said they will jackpot. So for the commissions now, we have the diaspora policy in place, and we say we have your embassy in Nigeria. So they come to us for whatever challenges. We have a diaspora policy in place. We have the Diaspora Day celebration, July 25. I hope Your Excellency said that you will attend and be, as usual, the special guest of honor. We have the Diaspora Investment Summit, and I'm glad to say that Nigerians are investing back home. This year we are having a team from Houston to be led by the Mayor of Houston with 30 delegates to invest in Nigeria. You took that decision after your victory, Mr. President, sir. And a lot more will be happening. So once more, Nigerians here in France, you're very lucky, the very first presidential exchange, and we continue to appreciate you, and we hope that, Mr. President, under your leadership, you continue to give a lot of prominence to the diaspora. We have a lot of challenges, don't we?
Yeah.
We do, but we know that you will, understand that, make us a stronger commission. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and we appreciate you.
And now writing back to us.
The members of the Nigerian community living in France praised President Tinubu for taking bold, decisive and visionary steps in fixing the economy. Nigerians at the event assured President Tinubu of their full support for his progressive ideas. This is his first presidential diaspora engagement in Paris, France. More reactions are coming from Rivers State over the face-off between the drivers' unit of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, and the Rivers State Command of the Niger Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, as the South-South Youth Initiative has accused top members of NUPENG of involvement in illegal oil bunkering activities in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. This is as it insisted that the outgoing commandant of the NSCDC in Rivers State, Michael Oga, auctioned trucks that were arrested while conveying illegal petroleum products based on the court orders. Addressing newsmen in Port Harcourt, SSYI National President Comrade Emeade Saviour Oscar described the action of NUPENG and IPMAN members who blocked a major road leading to the NSCDC state headquarters in Port Harcourt as contempt of court. Oscar explained that despite all efforts by oil thieves in the region, Oga has maintained his high integrity and remained professional in his line of duty.
That the protest by some individuals, the action against Oga, was ill-fated. This has affected a lot of the big masquerade involved in this illicit act, that they only want him out of the state so they can feed they in their crime. It is clear and note that NUPENG and IPMAN have never acted based on the welfare of the ordinary citizen. Rather, they've always acted based on their personal welfare. NUPENG have not added their voice to talk about the affecting issue of oil subsidy removal that affected the general masses. Rather, they went fast in their action because their truck that was carrying illegal bunkering was actually accosted, and even the men that was responsible for these trucks disappeared into thin air. So we are also surprised that he was immediately redeployed based on the protest of IPMAN and NUPENG.
He urged the NSCDC Commandant General not to act based on sentiment but on professionalism in the course of the investigation.
We urge the Commandant General of NSCDC not to act based on sentiment for utmost professionalism. We are calling on the court that gave the interim order to go after the personnel of NUPENG and IPMAN for contempt of court. The people involved in undermining the order of court should be arrested and prosecuted accordingly. We are also calling on the Commandant General of NSCDC, Dr. Ahmed Odi, not to allow self-centered politicians and individuals to be a deciding factor of our action against his own men and officers. Rather, his action should be guided by fact and professionalism. We state that Oga should be commended for his fruitful effort in restoring sanity, reduction of suits resulting from oil bunkering in the state.
Meanwhile, the Commandant General of the Corps has deployed a new commandant in replacement of Oga in Rivers State. Now it's time to get the trendy stories from the News Machine studios at Hot FM 98.3 Abuja. Let's hook up with more news coming from the nation's capital.
Good morning. Here's the news from Abuja. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps has read the riot act to oil thieves in the country, vowing to deploy newly trained men and newly acquired assets after them. Commandant General of the Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, who made the vow on Monday in Abuja at the graduation of personnel trained in weapon handling, said the Corps has trained over 10,000 personnel in weapon handling and special tactics within the past 2 years. Addressing the graduates, Audi urged the Corps to do their best to reduce and, if possible, eliminate oil theft totally. Speaking on the achievement of the Corps within the past 2 years, Audi said aside the training of 10,000 officers and men in arms and weapon handling, other specialized areas have been created and keenly nurtured, such as the CG's Intelligence Squad, CG's Anti-Vandal Squad, among others. While noting that the Corps has developed a standard operating procedure for itself, Audi added that he has also been able to establish training schools in Nasarawa, Enugu, and Jos. On the issue of promotion backlogs, especially as it affects the 2010 and 2012 sets, the NSCDC boss said the issue was being handled to the best of his ability. Acting Inspector General of Police Olukayode Egbetokun has announced the creation of a new special intervention squad comprising 40,000 specially trained elite officers. According to the police boss, in light of the current challenges, a series of operational strategies have been developed, which is aimed at strengthening capabilities to effectively deliver their mandates. Speaking during a meeting with squadron and tactical commanders in Abuja, Egbetokun said the squad will be formed by selecting officers from the pool of existing police mobile force personnel and all tactical units in the country. The police boss also said officers will undergo intensive pre-deployment training to make them combat ready for the frontline operational duties in all the states of the Federation, with a particular focus on areas plagued with unrest and turmoil. Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has said many grants from the World Bank are marred in corruption. Professor Bolaji Owasanoye, chairman of the anti-corruption body, who made this statement when he hosted a delegation of the Economic and Organized Crime Office of Ghana recently, said the political economy of the international ecosystem was not designed for developing countries to progress in the fight against corruption. Lamenting how developing countries get swayed by outcomes of international surveys, the ICPC boss said it was wrong to use perception surveys to compare experience surveys. He said developing countries are driven by the outcomes and reports of international surveys, adding that international surveys are not innocent and that it is naive to think they are otherwise. And that's all from the News Machine studio at Hot FM Abuja. I'm Kevin Joseph La, over to Lagos.
All right, let's link up with the News Machine studios at Hot FM 99.5 Owerri for the trending news happening in the southeastern part of the country.
Good morning and welcome to our News Machine studios in Owerri. The Imo State House of Assembly has announced the appointment of its principal officers. The lawmaker representing Owerri West State Constituency, Honorable Kanayo Onyemachi, was reinstated as the majority leader of the 10th Assembly, while his counterpart from Oru East, Honorable Chigozie Nwaneri, re-emerged as the chief whip of the House. The Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Chike Olembe, who made this announcement at yesterday's plenary, listed other principal positions.
Deputy Majority Leader Honorable Chidebere Ogbunipa, Okigwe State Constituency. Deputy Chief Whip Honorable Edi Obinna, Abo Mbise State Constituency. Minority Leader Honorable Modestus Ostakwe, Isu State Constituency. Deputy Minority Leader Honorable Vitalis Ndipisi, Idiato South State Constituency. Clark.
Governor Alex Oti of Abia State on Tuesday swore in members of the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on the recovery of looted government property and stolen funds belonging to the state. Inaugurating the panel, Oti explained that his intention was not to engage in witch hunting of past government officials, but the investigation became necessary following public clamor to probe his predecessor. And finally, from Anambra State, the Anambra State government has offered a scholarship to Miss Nkechinyere Ume, an indigene of the state, who has the highest score in the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME. The State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumude, who made this known in a statement on Tuesday in Oka, said that Ume scored 360 in the examination. Chumude said that the student had been offered a scholarship by the state government to study any course of her choice at Chukwuemeka Odumegu Ojukwu University. And that's all from the News Machine studios at Hot FM Owerri. Back to our studios in Lagos. I am Ifeyunwa Nwanna.
You are listening to the News Machine, reaching you from our stations in Lagos, Abuja and Owerri, 7 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. Monday to Friday. Let's hear what correspondent Nesasani has for us on Voices in the News.
This is Victor Ifezwe, an oil and gas stakeholder.
Since the regulators are here and us the regulated are also here, what is key is ease of penetration. How to make it easier for some of us to invest. How do we access funds? For us, you all know that getting funds for expansion is difficult. How do regulators make it easy for us to be able to access funds, especially when it comes to Forex? Everybody who buys a gas tank is buying a Belgium gas tank. Why? We can't afford USD to buy new ones.
And I'll bring you sports stories. Crystal Palace forward Wilfred Zaha and rapper Stormzy have agreed a deal to buy non-league club AFC Croydon. The pair, who both grew up in the South London borough, are part of a three-man consortium alongside former Palace head of player care Danny Young. AFC Croydon compete in the 9th tier of English football. And that's all we have for you on today's edition of the News Machine. Thank you for listening and you have a lovely day ahead. Good morning.